day on TV, Live Aid was re-shown in its entirety. 40 years of Live Aid. Since Live Aid it was, and they've shown it in its entirety. Status Quo, they started it. Later on, Freddie Mercury's on the stage, doing his things. And just like 40 years ago, I turned it off, because I thought it was crap. I thought it was boring. And is it just me? I don't know. The reason being, I know Status Quo started it, and the reason why I know Status Quo started it was because I used to go to pub quizzes. And that's an easy question, isn't it? It's a question of music. Name the band that was the first one to start Live Aid, and it was Status Quo. I didn't see it. I actually got in there halfway, well, I got in there just as Queen were on. And first of all, I'm not a big fan of Queen. Shoot me now. But secondly, after about 5-10 minutes, I turned it off. And funnily enough, 40 years later, pretty much the same thing happened. I went, oh yeah, Live Aid's on, because I saw somebody posting it on their socials. So I clicked through to find it, and it came on. And funnily enough, Freddie Mercury was there doing his stuff. And I've actually seen the film Bohemian Rhapsody, where that actor also does the Live Aid thing, and he gets him down to a T, to be honest with you. But after 5 minutes, I turned it off, because Queen's not my thing. But this is the big thing about it. I think it's because, not many people can say this, at 53 years of age, I think I was born too late. I think I was born too late for Live Aid, because there's not a generation ahead of me, but if you're 5 years older than me, let's say, you'd have been 18 when that was happening. And I can imagine that Live Aid would have been a massive thing for you, because if you're heavily into your music, you had all like the greatest pop bands from the UK then, and you had that in America going on as well. But when you're 13 years of age and you're not really developed into music as of yet, it's just something else on the TV that your parents are watching. And I'm the youngest of 4. My older siblings, some of them were watching it. My eldest was waiting for Madonna, I think. But for me, I walked in, looked at it and went, nah. I went off out playing on my bike. And funnily enough, Saturday just gone, it was exactly the same. I didn't go out on my bike, by the way. What I did do is I literally turned it on. And after a few minutes, I literally went, nah. Because it still resonated, that same feeling for me. And a lot of people, it's weird, this happens at my age at the moment with quite a few things that I was actually too young for. And when you're too young for something, you don't actually get to appreciate what was actually happening at the time. I understand it, I understand the relevance of it, I understand the importance of it, I understand the significance of it. But Live Aid wasn't for me. Live Aid wasn't meant for a 13-year-old lad who was just into out playing on his bike and just going around elsewhere. You know, it was into those people who were into music, into smash hits, or all that sort of those sort of magazines, and that's where for them I can understand how it's absolutely an amazing thing. Yeah, mate. But for me, as I said, I think I was too young for it. It's weird to see people on social media talking about it and the hype that they do, because that's why I said, is it just me? Because there's got to be more people out there who just think, yeah, this is not my thing, it's not my era, so therefore it's not your thing. I can't hold myself attached to that. And that's happened a couple of times actually throughout my life, that I was literally just too young, so therefore I just missed it. I don't regret I'm too young, it's quite nice actually. But it's true, just a little bit too young for that one. So Live Aid, I think I'll pass. So I left school just before my 16th birthday, after doing my GCSEs, and I was going into an apprenticeship at the golf club in Manchester. And I was the assistant golf pro, but I was the second assistant, because you used to always have a head assistant and then a second assistant. That's how it worked until they qualified, moved on, and you become the head assistant. So the head assistant at the time, Scott, he was about 18, 19. I'm about 15, 16 in Manchester. And it's just the time where Scott was most probably developing and starting to go out and stuff. And Scott nailed his time. He nailed his age, because at that age, the place to be in the whole of the country most probably was the Hacienda in Manchester. Do you remember the Hacienda? Even if you're not from Manchester, I think you must be aware of the Hacienda. It was a phenomenon where the roses were stoned, all the carpets were in spiral. The music was fantastic. I had to listen to it day in, day out in the shop, because Scott had it on his cassettes. every single day. The head assistant gets the choice. Obviously, he gets to rule the roost, whereas the second assistant just falls in line and follows suit, you know. So I became quite a big fan of the Manchester scene, and some cracking tracks on there. There's a car coming, 2 seconds. Wait there. Wait there. Good lads. Wait there. I say hello to people every day, and they say hello to me back, and that's what's nice about living over here, is that community spirit. The dog's just tied me up with his leads. But I love the Manchester scene, and at 16 years of age, aero, don't do that, it's going around the back of my legs again. And I couldn't wait, really, to hit at least 17 or something like that, so I could go down to the Hacienda and experience it for myself, because he used to come in on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning with his stories of what the place is like and what's going on. And it's most probably, for him, it's most probably the Beatlemania of his time, you know? And it was phenomenal. It shaped his life. I think it shaped his culture. It shaped his future, of also his love of music, because I think music plays a great, massive part in culture. So eventually I hit about 17 years of age, which was me brave enough to then venture out. And the Hacienda shut. It closed down, just like, boom, done, gone, closed. And that was it, it was done. And I was like, he does it every single time. Look, stop. He loves getting around the back of your legs. So I missed out on that. Look, again, mate, what are you doing to me? Stop it, keep walking. And the Hacienda was gone, and it was just like something was snatched away from you. You know what I mean? Something that you're so looking forward to, and it was gone. The music changed, the scene changed. And all of a sudden I'm 17, just starting to go into the pubs, and thinking to myself, I'm going to go to the Hacienda one day. And it was gone, and I missed it. Why? Because I was too young. I was too young for it, and it was like most probably one of maybe the biggest music movements of my era, and I was literally out of it by this time, by about a year, I think. So that's the reason why I always think to myself, I'm too young. I was... Luckily, I mean, I think the dance scene came in, like the rave scene. I was too young for that acid scene, I think, as well. So I missed the acid, which I'm pleased about, because I've never actually dabbled in those sort of things. So I missed that. But the dance then, from acid came into dance, and I actually then got into the dance scene. I loved it. I absolutely had a great time. Must have lost so much weight. It was like every night, Friday night was like an aerobic session. You know what I mean? Because you're moving that much. Mate, go this way. Come on, this way. Stop being an idiot. This way. So, yeah, all right, I'm not Barbara Woodhouse. So I got the dance scene. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. I had a great time. And, you know, that's coming back now, really, the 90s dance stuff. There's a lass over here called Lisa Bridge who does it really well, actually. And I really enjoy listening to her. But that's back. But again, it's nowhere near the cultural impact as, let's say, Live Aid or the Hacienda. You know, it's just like dance scene. Name me top dance acts. Well, Snap, Rhythm as a Dancer, not the greatest track of all time, but it's the only ones you tend to remember. But there's some absolute belters in there as well. So when I was about 6 or 7, this is taking it right back. I'm a Manchester lad. My nan, she lives in a place called Fallowfield, Rusholme. Literally 250 metres away from Main Road, the old Main Road Stadium, the City Stadium. Now, I used to get dropped off every Saturday morning. Didn't have a choice in the matter. Off to my nan's house every Saturday morning. So my mum says she can go to the big shop. Basically just afternoon drinking, I think. But I didn't know at the time. So I got dropped off at my nan's house. We used to put the telly on, waiting for the wrestling. Really loved the wrestling. Proper wrestling, you know? Not the fake American stuff, the real stuff, you know what I mean? Kenzo Nagasaki, Big Daddy. He's doing it again. Giant haystacks and all that sort of stuff. And then when the horse racing came on, I used to just be run out the back door, and that was me playing in the Ginnels, near Main Road, near the City Ground. I used to come back for lunch about 1ish, and the house would be full of about 40 policemen, all there, you know, with the hats, all on the side or on the floor. And the 40 policemen were just having a cup of tea before they went in to steward the game for Man City. And it was really weird just walking in and seeing all these police everywhere. But it was a nice community feel, you know. You don't get that anymore. So anyway, because she lived that close to Main Road, at the end of every season, obviously Main Road closed down, and they started opening for concerts. And I remember at 6 or 7, maybe 8 years of age, that'd be like 1980, I think. My nan used to get tickets for these concerts. And because she used to get ticket like one ticket a year to keep the peace with the neighbours. So Main Road used to speak to all the neighbours, give them one ticket. You can choose one concert ticket you want, etc. And you can go and watch a concert for free, because that'll keep the peace with City and the neighbours. You know what I mean? So I don't remember being offered a ticket for this one, but I do remember staying out doing a sleepover at my nan's house, and I've got the back window open. Do you remember the windows used to open really, really big, so you could actually fall out and kill yourself? You know, because there's no such thing as health and safety. And I remember sitting on that back window going, what is that pink massive pig flying in the sky? What's that all about? Why is there a pink pig in the sky now? And somebody just nonchalantly said, oh yeah, that's there's a concert on at Main Road, it's Pink Floyd. I'm like, oh, who? Why? Because I missed the time. I was born in 72, so for me, growing up, even though Pink Floyd might have been massive for you lot, they weren't for me. So I had no idea who they were. I thought it's a bit weird, that, having a pink pig flying around the sky. But then thought nothing of it. But now when you look back in the past, you go, my God, I could have gone and seen Pink Floyd. That was literally 300 metres away from Pink Floyd. Do you know, how do you get into music? Because to me, I got into music because another lad that we used to know, who was older, he's always like 2, 3, 4 years older. We jump in their car because they're the first ones to get the driving licenses in the cars. Therefore, they get the choice of music. And through that, I became a big U2 fan, and I became a big Prince fan as well. Because he was, not because I was, because he was, and therefore I must be. Also became a Luther Vandross fan at the same time, and an Alexander O'Neill fan, because that's the stuff he was playing in his car. So I got to my nan's tickets. This is why this is relevant, because one year my nan says, I've got tickets for a concert, do you fancy going? I'm like, yeah, what choice have you got? And she went, I've got Prince, whoever he is, Diamonds and Pearls tour. And I was like, that's right up my street, that. And I went, yeah, I'll have that. So I actually got to go and see Prince on his Diamonds and Pearls tour at Main Road. And he was brilliant. Still a little bit too young to appreciate the full facts of his like musical genius that I see now. But he was good. It was a good show. But without my nan's free tickets, I most probably wouldn't have gone. Then, my final one is I'm living in Holland, and I'm in the east of Holland. There's a big concert hall in a place called Den Bosch, and there was a group band there turning up that had been going for a few years, and the band was Oasis. And somebody said, do you want to go and see Oasis? I went, yeah, I'll go see Oasis. So we got the tickets, drove all the way over there. Literally, I was 3 from the front, got to see everything, the whole show. And I've got to tell you, it was bloody brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. To me, at one point, there was a pause. The music was being played, there was no singing. Liam was on his haunches, just knelt down, holding a tambourine, just looking out into the crowd with like that look that he has. And Noel Gallagher had one foot on a speaker whilst playing his guitar with his face, the most nonchalant face you've ever seen in your life, like that. Yet the music he was bringing out with guitar was absolutely amazing. And to me, that was one of the unforgettable moments. And I think to me, that's going to be one of the best concerts I think I've seen. So roll on now to 2025 or 2024, last year, when Oasis announced their tour. Everyone's like, do you want to go and see Oasis? Do you want to go and see Oasis? I'm like, no. And if people couldn't believe why I didn't want to go and see it, so why would you want to spoil a memory of what you have from then, where the music was raw, the fans were proper loyal fans, we'd been introduced it, this was our scene, this was my Beatlemania, let's say. Whereas you go now, and you've got the kids coming up, most probably shazamming the songs, wondering what songs they're going to play in, just because they can go and see Oasis, and it's now, they know 3 songs that they normally blast out in the pubs when they're drunk here in Tenerife. So I just went, no, I've seen it. I don't need to see it anymore. I've done it. And that memory's in my memory bank now, and that's locked. And I'm very happy with that one. It's weird though, as you're getting older, how you realise that stuff most probably just wasn't your time. And then I'm still wondering to wait to see if something is my time. Is it just me that thinks Live Aid wasn't all that? I don't know. Even on the Saturday evening when it was played out in full, still turned it off after 10 minutes. Didn't need to see it anymore. Till the next one. See you soon, guys. All the best.